I stand by what's happening to this man is elder abuse. What they're doing to him is unsavory. By the way, if you'd like to watch the program today, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's ReeseOnTheRadio.com. We are live there. You can watch my beautiful voice, as I say there. Again, I want to hear from you. What were you one of these people who were looking for proof of life? Were you convinced by the president tonight? Should he be able to go on? I almost used the phrase pull the plug. I don't mean that. I don't mean the pun, but you get, just pull the plug on the whole presidency. And I said this politically, for political reasons, if you really want to give Kamala Harris some momentum, you resign and put her in charge for the next 5.5 months to show that she indeed has the leadership quality to be president of the United States. If there's ever a test run that the American people can get, if you're really serious, if everybody is serious about her being the candidate, if everyone is truly, if all of that, the 200 million here, the 100 million there, if all of this is truly what people feel, the donor class, the Hollywood elites, if it indeed is true that that's what they think of Kamala Harris, give her 5 months to prove to the American people that she can get it done. She's up to snuff. Why not? I don't think anyone would hold it against President Biden if he were to resign tomorrow. The people who are going to write history predominantly love the man. They will write about him favorably. They'll say it's its health. They'll say whatever. But they'll give him a fine send-off, his health, whatever. You can think of anything you want to. Have the White House, draft it, and that'll be the storyline. Then Kamala Harris can prove to the American people, hey, look, I can be presidential. Amy's in the chat room. She says, that wasn't Biden. That was a robot. It barely blinked. Again, you see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. People do not believe it. Even if it's real, they don't believe it. This is an albatross around government's neck right now. Every time they try to wiggle out of this, it gets worse. It is, I said this, 2 weeks ago, that it was, it's quicksand. That's what it is for the Biden administration. It's quicksand. Let me see if I can find this soundbite. I played this as well. And I think this is a perfect soundbite. Because for those of you who remember the movie, The Replacements, Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman. Do you remember that? Keanu Reeves talks about quicksand. He's a football player, a quarterback, and he had lost this big game. And Gene Hackman asked, what's your biggest fear on the football field? And he says, quicksand. This is how he described it.
Quicksand. You think everything is going fine, but then one thing goes wrong. And then another. And another. And you try to fight back, but the harder you fight, the deeper you sink. Till you can't move. Can't breathe.
Because you're in over your head. And this administration is in over its head. It keeps lying. The lie has to be retracted. They keep lying. The lie has to be retracted. And then they're caught. They keep wiggling around. They keep screaming and hollering. And they're thinking they're going to get out of the quicksand. But they're not. They're making it worse. Biden's in over his head. Kamala's in over her head. And if you noticed, no word from the Obamas on the endorsement. We'll explain that in a little bit. We have some new details. I'm doing Obama Watch 2024. I'm waiting for any of the Obamas to endorse Kamala Harris, and I'm very suspicious as to why, but I may have answers. Why wouldn't Obama endorse what could only be considered the biggest, and I mean the biggest, nomination in history outside of his own? Not a word. Nothing. Not even from Michelle Obama. Nothing. Don't believe the hype, folks. There's a lot of stuff that and people have been using that term gaslight a lot. This isn't gaslighting. It's only gaslighting if it works. I've got a couple of ex-wives who can test. They have testimony basically on that, because I did a lot of gaslighting when I was with them. Gaslighting works. People are convinced when you gaslight them. Is it me? I'm the one that's the problem? That's gaslighting. When you pull the wool over somebody's eyes, that means mission accomplished. That's not happening. Everyone knows they're being lied to. Everyone knows. Bernie Madoff is in prison because he was successful at his crimes. This is bad. This is really, really bad. And no matter what they try to spin on television, it's about to get worse. I can guarantee that it's going to get worse because they have no idea what they're doing or how to fix it. And when that starts happening, you're in trouble. We'll take a break. Your phone calls, I'd like to hear from you. It's 1-800-616-WBEN, 800-616-9236. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsRadio, 930 WBEN.
How can the Stamm Law Firm help families who worry about huge nursing home costs? Here's Brad and Brian Stamm to tell you.
Healthcare costs in general are out of control, but nursing home costs have again gone up. At $18,000 per month, you are looking at almost $250,000 per year, $250,000. Who can afford that? No one can.
If you plan for this 5 years in advance, we can protect your hard-earned savings and even your home by creating a trust or by transferring assets to your children or through other means to protect your money and your home.
And even if you don't have the 5 years, we can still save approximately half of your hard-earned savings, even after your loved one has entered the nursing home.
To learn more about how the Stamm Law Firm can help you get Medicaid to assist in paying your bill, call the Stamm Law Firm today at 716-631-5767 or visit stammlaw.com.
Miss a show, segment, or interview? Download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. Favorite WBEN and listen live to any of our content on demand, wherever you are.
This is a special report from ABC News. Biden addresses the nation. I'm Daria Albinger. It was a rare primetime Oval Office address.
My fellow Americans, I'm speaking to you tonight from behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office. In this sacred space, I'm surrounded by portraits of extraordinary American presidents.
It's the first time we've heard from Mr. Biden since he ended his re-election bid.
I draw strength and I find joy in working for the American people. But this sacred task of perfecting our union, it's not about me. It's about you, your families, your futures. It's about we, the people.
The president repeating his endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris, who earlier today said while she was on the campaign trail that the nation was better for having had him as president. Mr. Biden says Supreme Court reform will be a priority as his term winds down. This is ABC News.
We literally changed people's lives.
Dr. Bernie Colber.
One woman that I took care of, there was no smiling in her wedding photos because she was so embarrassed to smile. And she was told she needed veneers and she needed everything done. And we spent about an hour and a half, all direct composites, tooth color filling materials, just redid her smile. It was magnificent, completely changed her life. She couldn't stop smiling after that.
We invest in technology.
Dr. Ellen Vossler,
You have to. You owe it to your patients to keep up with the research and the technology that dentistry is providing. You owe it to them. And you owe it to yourself as a dentist. I mean, we're here to protect their dental health.
Hey, Tanner, are we going straight
There's enough there that we look at that natural
after
tooth,
the
and there's
bottom?
still really good bone support for it. We look at that as better than an implant.
the Buffalo Dental Group on Main Street in Williamsville and at the corner of Englewood and Kenmore in North Buffalo. Call for an appointment, 634-1234. 634-1234.
The Buffalo Dental Group.
TheBuffaloDentalGroup.com.
Look good. Feel great.
David Bellavia here. Sometimes I think the Social Security process is purposefully complex. If you're having trouble getting benefits, there's a law firm that will help guide you through the process. It's Hiller time.
This is Ida Comerford at Hiller Comerford Injury and Disability Law. Don't take no for an answer from Social Security. We'll fight every step of the way to get you the benefits you deserve.
Get a free consultation when you call 866-HILLER-LAW online at hillercomerford.com. 6000 North Bailey Avenue, Amherst, New York, 14226.
Are you caring for someone age 55 or older and worried about their independence and health? With support from our program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly, or PACE, your loved one can live safely and independently at home for as long as possible. We deliver all the care your loved one needs in one program. Adult day health services, medical care, health insurance, a wide range of engaging activities, and caregiver support. To learn more, visit FallonWeinberg.org.
At Honda, we dreamed up a better EV with the all-new Prologue SUV. We gave it more passenger room than the competition. We gave it an elevated design. And we made its technology intuitive with Google built-in. Everything about the Prologue was designed to make it easy to go electric, just like you'd expect from a Honda.
For great deals on Honda's first electric vehicle, visit your upstate Honda dealer today.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
It's the greatest rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2024 with the Turtles, Jay and the Americans, The Association, Sadfinger, The Vogues, and the Cowsills. August 7th, the Buffalo News Grandstand, Erie County Fair. Get tickets now at ecfair.org. Welcome by the Erie County Fair.
We'll come back here in 30 seconds.
You got it.
Days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Read the news online at WBEN.com.
Oh, we are back. Oh, perfect bumper, Dan. I'm a big New Edition fan. It's Reese on the Radio, News Radio 930 WBEN. Yes, my ex-wife is in the chat room, and it shows you how great of a relationship we have. She's in there screaming about, pull your shirt down. It looks all bunched up. By the way, she also applauded me on recognizing that I was quite the gaslighter during our marriage. I know gaslighting better than anybody. I could convince you I invented gaslighting. It's Reese on the Radio. Again, you can check me out on reasoontheradio.com. Again, if you watch this speech, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are reading every social media post. They are listening to every pundit on television talking about how the president did. They are trying to get immediate reaction to see if anyone remotely thought to themselves that the president looked equipped or confident in his ability to stay in office for the next 5.5 months. And I'll tell you, I don't believe in piling on. I'll pile on a horrible president who's a horrible president. Lord knows I did 8 years ripping President Obama to shreds. 8 years I dealt with it. And it was everything about policy and policy and policy. It was always that. Regardless of people saying I was a traitor to my race, regardless of people saying that I refused to get in line, that's a black man, you're a black man. I went through all of that. So when it has to do with the policies, I will go over that. But again, I'm saying this as a conservative, dyed-in-the-wool conservative. I can say this beyond a shadow of a doubt. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I feel sorry for Joe Biden. Now, I know a lot of people out there are saying to themselves, no, I'm not even going, I'm not name calling in the sense, but I know some people out there who are looking at this and just going, Reese, think of all the things that he's done and blah, blah, blah. I have no sympathy for him. There comes a time that we know in our lives that we got more time behind us than we do ahead. Joe Biden's there. And I'll tell you a story. I'll go backwards if I could. And I always believe that history should be our guide. It's a tenet that I believe in today. I'm at radio station in Boston. It's my first show, right? First solo show. I used to be with a team in New York, but it's my first solo show in the AM spot. I'm the lead-in for Rush, 10 o'clock in the morning in Boston. And we get the news that Ted Kennedy has an aneurysm. And he doesn't have long. And sure enough, everyone in the business, especially politically in opposition to Ted Kennedy, had an outpouring of support and, wishing him well. But I was a young guy. Much younger than I am now. I'm not that young, but younger than I am now. I was unrelenting on Ted Kennedy. Everything about him, whatever the case was, I didn't let up. I said, who are these people? Where are these people? Why are they acting like this? Do you forget Ted Kennedy? You forget the person he's been, the things he said, the things he's done? And all of a sudden, everybody, and trust me, everyone was calling up at the station. It was just like, can you just have an ounce of grace? Just an ounce? And no, I was like, no, absolutely not. But with age comes wisdom. And I have to say, I'll never forget the day I openly had to admit, I was disgusted with myself. I felt awful. Because all of that was, he was probably dealing with what any one of us would consider one of the most fearful times in our lives. And he had to deal with that. I didn't have to deal with that. So there I was piling on at the time. But I'm looking at Joe Biden and I'm just going, this doesn't, it doesn't feel right. When he got COVID, do you remember that? When the first time he got COVID, people wanted to pile on with everything that was going on with the vaccine and the boosters and all that stuff. And he gets COVID, people wanted to pile on. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Because this is going to sound insane to some people. To others who get where I'm coming from, they'll get what I'm saying. If the country is not unified behind this old man who is looking weak and frail, and people outside of this country, adversaries in particular, see us beating up on him, we send a horrible message to those people about who we are. Because I can be honest with you, some of these other countries, many of them are adversaries, have a reverence for their elderly, for their elders, that we could never understand. And I know politics, being that they are as a team sport, and I get that people have axes to grind. I am not here to judge you for those. But you got to say to yourself, I wish that he would, for me and for everyone else, I wish that he would just resign. We'll deal with the other stuff later. If Kamala turns out to be horrible as president of the United States for the 5.5 months, we've got a process for that. And if the American people see that, see her in charge, and don't like the thing that they see, we have a process. But let's get the most important thing out of the way, and that is the doubt that we have in the coming months. Let's get that doubt out of the way. I wish the administration would see that. I kid you not, I don't see it lasting more than 3 weeks. He's canceled 9 events. They can't put him in hiding. They can't hide him. After today's speech, anything that they do will fall under scrutiny. He must resign. I'm predicting it right now that it will take a matter of weeks and he will have to leave. And that may be hard for the party to deal with. It's not going to be embarrassing for them. It's not going to be embarrassing. It won't even be embarrassing for the party. And that's another part that I don't seem to understand, is what harm would it do other than to Joe Biden's ego, which at this point, and again, I'm not saying that to be cruel, at this point, what would that matter? At this state in the game, what would it matter that Joe Biden's ego was bruised? Again, everyone else is going to write his story. He doesn't get to, no matter what you say, Joe Biden doesn't get to write his story. Everyone else will. And if they care about him, or they're really, really concerned about him, like Van Jones, who cries every chance that he gets when he gets on CNN about Joe Biden, perhaps everybody can have a good, solid group cry. Tell the man, please go home to Rehoboth, be with your family. By the way, sign this document. Yeah, yes, it's to pardon Hunter. Yes. We'll end the investigations into Hunter. Go home and relax. Go home and relax. We got this. Kamala, you'll swear Kamala in. We'll deal with the rest of this. So they can get it out of the way. Amy says maybe they'll do what they did to Woodrow Wilson. It's funny because it's funny you mentioned that Woodrow Wilson, they actually made him look good. Still have a bridge in his name. With all of the BLM protesters, Woodrow Wilson still has a bridge in his name. Black Lives Matter never came for that bridge. Doug said that I should play the violin. I'm not. I'm not going to play it. Again, I don't want to mock him. I don't. Here's what people are saying inside the chat room about this. Prop says Biden's dropping out. It was a move for the greater good. For Christ's sakes, MAGA themselves have been talking about how bad Biden is, and then he drops out. MAGA has a problem with this. I'm not suggesting that we have a problem with this. We don't have a problem with his speech. And maybe you may have jumped in late, so let me reiterate. I don't have a problem with Joe Biden dropping out. I called it. I was one of the people who called it very early. In fact, I called it to the day that he would drop out, and he did. What I'm saying now is that what was this speech for if he wasn't going to explain to us why he dropped out, which he did not. He never explained the reasons for him dropping out. He never said, everyone told us, right, is because he couldn't beat Trump, right? Everybody said because that's what the polling did. He didn't share that with the American people. He damn sure didn't say that it was his health. He just dropped out. He did it for the greater good. It's almost like Morning Joke wrote the eulogy. But he never cleared anything up for the American people. And the only thing I'm saying is, and again, it's my problem. I don't have a problem with Joe Biden other than the fact that it is proper for him at this point, just for the sake of just his dignity, not ours, just his own dignity. As president of the United States, he is a representative of us, And if he's doing something, as he stated, not me, for the greater good of the American people, it would be an obligation of his to step down. Who are we talking about here if we're not talking about the American people? Did you see the speech? Could you honestly watch that speech and say to yourself, yeah, he's got this. He's good to go. What are they beefing about? No, look at him. Spry as ever. Did you get that impression? Because all I want to know is tell me. Because if you can convince me, hey, you know what? My ex-wife is in the chat room. If you can convince her, you, as she said, are the king of gaslighting. No one's convinced by this. It's sad. It's sad and it's harmful. Not just to him. I think, we have a lot of people in this country. And I remember this vividly in 2016. People were saying, I'll never forget that. There was an ad that Hillary Clinton put out in 2016 that showed Donald Trump's speeches, stump speeches across the country during the election. And in the background, you'll all remember this, in the background, there were children who were in dark rooms in their house watching Donald Trump's speeches. And it was like all the inflammatory stuff that Donald Trump would say on the stump speech. And the ad was to say, this is what our children are witnessing. This is what our children are watching. You don't want your children to be like this. And that was the ad to just say, look, we can't elect a guy like this because this is the way he talks. Our children are watching. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a page out of Hillary's playbook. Our children are watching this. Are they no longer watching? How is no one looking at this going, it's time to wrap this up? Joe Biden said in his speech, and you all heard him, that he was passing it on to a new generation. Good. Let's complete that process. And if you were to listen to, and that's another thing I don't seem to understand, when you listen to these people in the news media who are openly lying to you, I mean, on purpose, lying to you about their enthusiasm for Kamala Harris, why aren't they calling for Joe Biden to step down to give her a run at it? If anything, if they believed in her, they would say, give her a run at it. She can run the country so we can prove to you that we're not gaslighting you, that Kamala Harris is indeed a great leader. They're not. No one's saying a word. I don't hear them. Do you hear them? I don't. Speaking of which, I played this already, but I want to give you an opportunity to hear it for yourself. This is important. Now, I know my people in the chat room who've already listened to this. Again, I hate to reiterate it, but, we're in another market. So for the folks at WBEN, I want you to listen to this. All of this is relevant. While the news media is telling you that Kamala Harris is the shining star of the Democrat Party, I want to take you back to recent history. This is February of 2024, 5 months ago. Kristen Welker, new host of Meet the Press, talking to Gavin Newsom. About what? About taking over for Joe Biden.
Let's talk about you, Governor. Days after that special counsel report came out questioning the president's age and his memory, the Washington Post reported that anxious Democrats reached out to top Biden donors to ask, quote, when is Gavin getting in? Or how about Whitmer or Shapiro? The buzz has not stopped. I know you've been asked this before, but do you still rule out a run in 2024?
Did you hear Kamala Harris's name in that list? No, you did not. No, you did not. Now, all of a sudden, Kamala Harris, the most important pick ever? Let's go a step further back. September 2023, same network, Chuck Todd, Gavin Newsom.
Filing deadlines haven't passed. President Biden doesn't run. Why shouldn't we consider you a likely
Well, I
candidate?
think the vice president is naturally one lined up, and the filing deadlines are quickly coming to pass. And I think we need to move past this notion that he's not going to run. President Biden is going to run, and looking forward to getting him reelected. I think there's been so much wallowing in the last few months and hand-wringing in this respect, but we're gearing up for the campaign. We're looking forward to it.
But you hear these calls privately. What do you tell these donors who are wallowing?
Time to move on. Let's go.
The donors were calling Gavin, not Kamala. Not Kamala. Kamala is the heir apparent now? One more. Over a year ago, 13 months to be specific. June 2023. Sean Hannity, Fox News, Gavin Newsom.
Do you think he's cognitively strong enough to be president?
I have conversations with him all the time, yes. And I'll tell you what.
You do?
I'm dead serious about that. I've talked to him when he's been overseas. I've been in Air Force One, Marine One. I've been in the limo with him. I've spent time with him privately.
But you never answered my question directly. How many times does your phone ping a day, people saying you need to get in this race because they agree with me that he's not up to the job?
No Kamala. Before the phone call, I want to play this. This one is my favorite one. My favorite one. Joy Reid. Just 2 weeks ago.
Y'all just tell me who the nominee is going to be. Let me know when you guys are finished fighting amongst yourselves who I got to vote for in November to keep Hitler out the White House. That's all I want to know. Who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. Y'all do your thing. Play in traffic all you want in front of these Republicans, acting a fool in front of these people instead of privately declaring your stuff. But don't text me no more because I'm not taking no more of these texts. Just let me know when you guys are finished figuring it out, Democrats, because I know y'all the freak out people. Go ahead and freak out, have your conversation, and then let me know who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. That's it. I'm done. Oh, and by the way, if it's Biden in a coma, I'm going to vote for Biden in a coma. I don't even.
No mention of Kamala Harris. None. 2 weeks ago. To the phones, 800-616-WBEN. Let's go to Dan in West Buffalo. Hello, Dan. You're on Reese On The Radio. Dan, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Very good, sir. How are you?
Old and miserable. And poor and crazy at that.
I hear that.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can launch into public policy right there because I get less than half in my Social Security what illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants turn themselves in, they get $2,200.
Wow.
Anyway, and this is really, okay, public policy is huge. And those of us who remember a short time ago, the Trump administration, we remember this guy kept his word about what he was going to do. And he was doing what people wanted, what the electorate wanted. If you took the biggest survey ever and asked people, explain the Abrahamic Accord and the Tehran Accord.
Right.
Which did people want? It didn't matter because we had no choice. Which did we prefer, being a net petroleum exporter or having a war against fossil fuels? Again, they didn't really ask us.
Yeah.
And so we, and this is the point here. Trump was overturning bad policies, and that's why they've been so dedicated to keeping him out again.
Yeah.
And then you look at the lengths to which they were willing to go, it's been like nothing in history. I mean, Lincoln, the states were participating and trying to keep him out, but it still wasn't anything like this. And
well, this is blatant. At least during Lincoln's time, it was covert. Well, then again, they didn't have the advent of the 24-hour news cycle either. But you're right. But you're right. It was a very covert effort to remove Lincoln.
the libertarians have complaints about Lincoln, and I don't dismiss that stuff either. But the thing is, as far as Trump goes, no matter what they say, he was operating more above board than we're used to seeing. Also,
agreed.
And that might be saying a lot, and people might guffaw when I say it, but I'll stick to it.
I can appreciate it. I can appreciate it, buddy. I can appreciate it.
But I mean, imagine a guy keeping his word and delivering the goods.
What do you think of? Did you get to see the speech, Dan? Real quick before I let you go, did you get to see the speech with Biden?
No.
You didn't watch it.
Oh no, I didn't. I wasn't even near the TV.
No, you got it. Listen, if you get a chance, I need you to look at. Do me a favor, check it out. Yeah. Give me a holler back. Tell me if you agree with me that gave no, or in your view, if that gave the American people any confidence that he could stay in office for the next 5.5 months. And I know that seems like a short time, but Biden has.
I think it's by design, though, that if they manage to finagle Kamala into the White House, that we will have had 2 presidents in succession that the world didn't take seriously. I think that's by design. Because,
it would be.
But I mean, can you imagine this administration sent her to the security conference in Munich to tell Zelensky he must join NATO? NATO didn't want Ukraine. Ukraine didn't need NATO, and they're telling him and why? Well, so the globalists can run the Ukraine after the Ukrainians are all dead.
And that was exactly the plan. But I got to let you go, Dan. I really appreciate the call because I got to I'm on a hard break right now coming up, so I appreciate you. Folks, stick around. We've got much more news and much more views, especially much more of these sound bites of the breakdown because, again, it's I think that this speech was consequential for the American people and whether or not they have any faith in this administration going forward. So we'll take a break. More news, more views. As I said, we'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsRadio 930 WBEN.
WBEN is on time, all the time, with news at the top and bottom of every hour. Stay up to date with the latest news, traffic, weather, and all the hot topics. WBEN, Buffalo's news and talk. On time, all the time, every day. Powered by Arthur Pressman, your DWI and traffic attorney. Listen to Hardline with Joe Beamer every Sunday from 10 to noon on News Radio 930 WBEN.
Hey, Tanner, are the clips coming in low on your end, or are they good?
Also listen to Hardline.
No, about the same level as your voice is.
Okay, good. So for some reason that line's going in high. I need to find a way to get it higher on Facebook. That's
WBEN Buffalo, WKSE 3 HD3 Niagara Falls. An Odyssey station.
From ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. The Oval Office provides the backdrop as President Biden tells the nation why he is ending his re-election bid.
It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think it's more important than any title.
More from ABC's Karen Travers.
The White House also said today that the president's decision to not run for re-election was not because of his health, despite all of the speculation over the past couple of weeks after that debate performance in late June, which he acknowledged was a bad night. He didn't say it explicitly tonight, but what he was acknowledging here was the concession that he recognized that he was not likely to win this race.
Mr. Biden's plans for his last months in office include lower costs, Supreme Court reform, and stopping political violence. It wasn't a full house, but Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu got a warm welcome before he addressed a joint meeting of Congress.
The Israeli leader praising not only President Biden, who traveled to the war zone just days after the attack.
I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel.
But former President Trump as well.
I also want to thank President Trump.
Yet it is clear why Netanyahu came, with more than 39,000 Palestinians killed by the Israelis, according to the Hamas health ministry, Netanyahu is appealing to Americans to stand firm in what he frames as a battle between good and evil.
ABC's Martha Raddatz. NORAD detected, tracked, and intercepted 2 Russian and 2 Chinese aircraft in the Alaska Air Defense Zone. Stocks plunged to their worst losses since 2022, with one company greasing the skids.
Tesla shares that are down about 11%. Its worst day since January 25th of this year, and that was on weaker than expected results.
You're listening to ABC News.
From the WBEN newsroom, I'm Tom Puckett. Here's what's happening. A man accused of attacking Salman Rushdie at Chautauqua Institution now faces terrorism charges. A 3-count indictment unsealed in federal court charges Hadi Matar with attempting to provide material support to Hezbollah. The charges also include committing terrorism, transcending national boundaries, and providing material support to terrorists. Governor Hochul addressing smartphone use in schools as far as restricting use in schools.
My inclination is to leave decisions to localities, whether it's in local government, whether it's school districts. I come out of local government. However, I have heard enough from school superintendents and teachers who say, if you could do this as a state, it'll make it a lot easier on us.
Hochul says cell phones in classrooms have become a barrier to teachers' ability to teach and hold students' attention. Town of Tonawanda police say a teen is fighting for his life after he and his bike were involved in a crash last night. It happened around 8:30 at Woodstock and Yorkshire. Police say a pickup truck struck the 15-year-old. Police say no charges are expected. From the WBEN newsroom, I'm Tom Puckett.
Buffalo's news and talk. Live from the NOCO Energy Expert Studios, 24/7. Trusted by homes and businesses for 90 years. This is News Radio 930 WBEN.
Master Sherrod, someone earns the black belt but stops training. Are they still a black belt?
They just have a black belt.
Why's that?
A true black belt is always becoming.
You can't keep what you've learned without practicing.
And you can't grow without pushing yourself, pressing on.
Earning a black belt is a huge achievement.
But hanging up your belt just makes it a trophy.
I believe earning a black belt gives you permission to train as a black belt.
What you do while you wear it is how you truly become a black belt.
Call Master Greenos to start or restart your martial art journey. Call 836-KICK.
It's one of the great American melting pot success stories. Leon Comm immigrated to the U.S. by himself at the age of 13. Starting with nothing, he learned the English language, worked his way through the Great Depression, and opened his own monument company on Delavan Avenue in Cheektowaga's historic Pine Hill district.
We're proud of the fact that from my grandfather on, we're 4 generations into the same line of work, the exact same facility that he started and he created.
He also created a Comm legacy, a philosophy that's unwavering still today, recognizing the great responsibility in creating proper memorials.
All lives need to be recorded, they need to be honored, they need to be distinguished, they need to be preserved.
When it's time to honor your family member or legacy, choose a Comm monument crafted by a Comm artisan and carver. Leon Comm and Son Monument Company. Distinguish, preserve, honor.
The exclusive WBEN 7 weather forecast calls for scattered showers and thunderstorms into the evening and briefly may pass downtown Buffalo as well as the lake breeze winds down. Temperatures will be dropping from the 80s into the 60s overnight, drying out under mostly cloudy skies and temperatures dropping into the lower 60s. For our Thursday, mostly sunny, highs are in the mid and upper 70s. On Friday, we are sunny with highs near 80 and into the mid and upper 80s for this weekend. With your exclusive WBEN 7 weather forecast, I'm meteorologist Autumn Lewandowski.
The presidential race in question. This is continuous coverage on News Radio 930 AM WBEN.
And I'm Reese on the radio. As we go through this, which is, someone said not too long ago that the Webster Dictionary word of the year is going to be unprecedented, and you could damn well bet it will be. Those of you in the chat room, I apologize, especially those on Rumble. By the way, you can find Reese on the radio on Rumble. KB, I did not miss your comments. I apologize. I was kind of on a roll. But you can join us on Rumble, on Facebook, and you can do all of that by just going directly to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com so you can find us on all those platforms. With the exception of we don't do a live show on Instagram. We don't do a live show on TikTok. But we do it on X, or as I like to call it, X, and formerly Twitter and Facebook and on Rumble. But you can find all those there. I'll read a couple of comments before I go to the telephones. Charlie Q says, Reese, thank you for being the voice on the radio at WBEN this evening. Your comments are truthfully telling and in many cases laughable in this whole conversation of our incompetent ruling government. I couldn't agree more. Those people who were upset about my shirt, I hope I fixed it because there's a lot of commentary about the way my shirt looks on camera. You can watch the show, and as I say, watch my beautiful voice by going to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. I think, they're taking phone calls now. So if you'd like to call in, get on the phones now. Of course, that number, 800-616-WBEN, 800-616-9236, or you can call locally at 716-803-0930. That's 716-803-0930. I guess the best way to really understand what's going on is to look at this from the perspective of where were we on June 27th and where are we now with respect of the president's condition. What does he look like today compared to the 27th? That is, today we're on the 24th of July. We are still less than a month from that performance on the debate stage. A month to see this kind of decline is rapid. No matter how you slice it, it is. And you have to ask yourself, in seeing this, whether or not you believe the president is capable of lasting another 5.5 months. Even if we would go by the measure of the last month at this decline, do you think that it's fair to make him hold public office at this point? And you're right, perhaps mental health isn't a business decision. Don't worry, if you're on the phone lines, they will pick them up, I promise. Let's go to Lisa in North Buffalo. Hello, Lisa, you're on Reese on the radio.
Hello, Reese.
How can I help you, Lisa?
So you were talking earlier about Kamala and how the Democrats weren't even discussing her as an option a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Really, that was just reporters that were asking Gavin. It had really nothing to do with what the Democratic Party was planning on doing.
Okay.
And also, if you listened to Biden's speech, he didn't drop out because of his health. He dropped out because he didn't think he was going to win.
Okay.
He dropped out to give the party a chance. You are focusing on his health. Right now, what you are doing is all rhetoric. It has nothing to do with his health. It has to do with the media focusing on his health.
Okay. Lisa, let's take that in consideration. Are you willing to defend this position?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Help me out here.
I wouldn't be calling you if I wasn't.
Good. I'm thankful of that. Good. Because I love this debate. I love having this debate with plenty of people, and trust me, I have it often. So, you believe that the reason why he dropped out is because he couldn't win. Right? The polling data.
I believe that's what he believes.
Okay. No debate there. He believes that. Okay? The President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden Jr., got 81 million votes in 2020. Is that a fact?
Yes.
Okay. You believe he garnered the American people to vote for him more than any other president in the history of this country, even that of Barack Obama. You believe that, yes?
That's what you're saying, and I'm agreeing with that.
Okay, fine. You're agreeing with that.
I am
Okay.
not saying I believe that.
Okay.
You're saying it.
Okay, I'm asking you whether or not these are facts.
I think they're irrelevant.
Well, I'm not done
whether
yet,
or not
Lisa.
they're facts.
Lisa, with all due respect, I'm not done yet. This is a series of questions because
Well, don't put words in my mouth.
I don't mean to. I don't mean to
know
put
whether
words.
or
I don't
not
mean to put words in your mouth.
I agree with that.
I need you to
go
defend
where you're going with
Lisa,
this.
I need you to defend.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I need you to defend where you're coming from here. Okay?
Okay, so speak for yourself.
Okay,
not for
thank
me.
you. The President of the United States believes that democracy is at stake, and he says that he believes that he couldn't win. But for weeks, if not this entire year, he told, in fact, for 6 months, he told people no matter what, he wasn't dropping out. There was no reason for him to drop out, and because the American people had spoken, and there's no way that they would elect Donald Trump ever again. That's what he told us. Those were his words, not mine, his words. And now he is saying that he doesn't believe that he could win. Now, again, I'm asking you, even if he doesn't believe that he could win, if he's doing it for the American people, if it was so important for him to be in this election, it has nothing to do with whether or not he believes he can win. He must believe in the American people that they are going to vote for him the way they did for him in 2020, that his policies are what the American people want.
The American people lost faith in him because they listened to the media. And then you had everyone else asking him to step down. Even Obama eventually asked him to step down. George Clooney publicly asked him to step down.
He's the president of the United States. How does Obama is the president?
They were asking him to step down. So he lost confidence in the fact that he was going to win because he was being told that repeatedly by the media and by members of his own party.
He's the president of the United.
Constantly were telling him this. You're not going to win.
Okay, so all right. So with that, so that we're clear, you believe that Kamala Harris was a good choice as
100%.
She is the
She's
vice.
got the black vote. She has the woman's vote. She has the young person's vote. She has the Indian Asian vote.
She does.
Absolutely.
She's locked all of that up, Lisa. Lisa,
She's
so wait.
got 73% of the young person's vote. She's beating it in the women's vote. Right, last I saw was 53%.
Lisa, that happened. That happened in a matter of weeks. Hold on, Lisa. Again, we have
and
to
this
let
is in a matter of like less
Lisa.
than
Yeah,
a week.
just
less
let
than
me
a week,
finish,
these
Lisa.
numbers.
I don't want to shout over you. I want an opportunity to ask you some questions. Kamala Harris, and I'm pronouncing her name right. Kamala Harris has been rated one of the worst vice presidents in history. She is worst polling.
By whom?
May I finish, please?
By whom?
May I finish? I'll tell you.
By whom?
I'll tell you as soon as I'm finished with my statement, Lisa. She has the worst polling data of any vice president in history. She's polled lower than Dick Cheney. Do you know that?
Not anymore.
Oh, no. So you're saying, let's deal with rationale here. You're suggesting that miraculously, a week after Joe Biden steps down, that Kamala Harris has somehow had a resurgence of support from the blacks, Indian women. You believe that
Asian, Indian.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because of
women.
And what were the accomplishments to change her from 28% to the 75% you believe that she has now?
That 73% was the young person's vote, 18 to 29. And yes, because people want her to win.
Kamala Harris's current favorability rating is 38%. Donald Trump's is 41.
That's not what I'm seeing.
where are you going? Are you going to the Real Clear Politics?
Go
to Real.
Tell me where you're
The
seeing
Real Clear Politics average aggregates all of the polling data from every polling site known to man. She is currently 7 points behind Donald Trump in several polls, and in altogether in the aggregate poll, she still polls 4 points, if not 3 points behind him. I do polling data every day. It's my favorite part of the day.
And it won't take long for her to
What's going to change, Lisa?
That people don't want Trump to be president.
Really, they want it. Wait. So they don't want Trump.
The clip that you played earlier.
Yes, ma'am.
The clip you played earlier was an MSNBC person who said, "I will vote for Trump in a coma before I will vote. I will vote."
Actually, that wasn't. No, that was Joy
in a coma.
That's right.
Before I will.
Yes, that was Joy Reid. That was the unhinged Joy Reid, who 2 weeks ago said she would vote for Biden in a coma. Never once mentioned.
In a coma.
Never once mentioned Harris in that diatribe.
Why did she need to? It was irrelevant. She didn't need to mention. I don't understand what your point is.
Okay, Lisa, then I'll say it to you and then I'll end it this way.
Gavin
Here's what I'm saying.
She didn't mention Josh Shapiro. She didn't mention anyone.
Lisa?
You're trying to focus on the fact that she didn't mention Kamala Harris?
Yes,
That's irrelevant.
Of course
if she had mentioned 12 other people,
Lisa,
she didn't mention her. So
maybe you should listen real quick while I finish the statement, and then we'll just end the call. So I just want to say this to you, okay? Kamala Harris, for the last 3.5 years, has always been the running mate of Joe Biden. She was right there. She was right there.
Yeah.
She was when they ran in 20. Wait.
Hold
Hold on. Let's go one step further.
Because
let's go one step further, Lisa. In 2020, Kamala Harris ran in the primary.
Republicans don't want a woman to win, and you're
actually.
scared.
I've got no problem with a woman. I've got no problem with a woman. I've got no problem with a woman, Lisa. Got none. In fact, I can name several women who I'd like to see president before Kamala Harris. I just don't believe that there's a universal deal with women. Like, I don't see them as a monolith. I don't think that a woman is where I'm looking for. I don't care about her gender. I don't care about whether or not her hair is long or short. I don't care whether or not she's black or Indian or part Jamaican. I don't care. What I do care about is
you don't, but the most
Republicans
do.
Now, wait. And you get to wait. Hold on. Let me say this, Lisa. Lisa, if I may. Lisa, if I may. Let me say this. You get to paint every Republican with a broad brush. If I were to say that about a black person, if I were to say what you said about an Asian person, if I were to say what you said about all wait, Lisa, I want to get this question out. If I were to say what you just said, would you, talking about us in a broad stroke, saying we're all this, if I had said that or applied it to any other group of people, you'd have called me a bigot. You'd have called me a bigot. Yeah, because it's acceptable for you.
Republicans.
That's right.
Project 2025. I don't hear you talking about Project 2025.
Have you read it?
Let's hear about that. Instead of let's hear about that.
Have you read it?
Kamala, okay.
Have you read it, Lisa?
Oh, absolutely. It's 922 pages. I've read every.
How many
single
initiatives
one.
in it? How many initiatives in it?
And listen to me.
Lisa, how many initiatives in it?
Instead of answering my question, why aren't you talking about Project 2025?
Because I've read it.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how the mega Republicans are white supremacists. They're misogynistic. They want to get everybody out of the country who's not like them, okay? They're Christian nationalists.
Oh.
I want to hear you talk about that.
Okay,
I want
Lisa.
to hear you talk about that. I want to hear you talk about Project 25, okay? That's what I want to hear you talk about.
Thank you.
And when you can convince me and all the rest of the world that Trump is not a dictator and doesn't want to be one, then maybe he'll win. But
then continue to listen to the show, Lisa. I think I've exhausted this, but I appreciate the call. This was actually pretty good. I enjoyed this. I did. But don't worry, listen in. Make sure you stick around. I'll appreciate that. Everybody's Boosie's like, how do I call in? Everybody, give me a second. I promise you I'll let everybody in who gets a chance. Again, that telephone number, 800-616-WBEN, 800-616-9236 if you want to call in. Everybody's chomping at the bit now. Let's go to Fritz. Fritz the cat is calling from Connecticut. You got to be brief, Fritz. What's going on? And no, don't say anything mean. No nastiness.
No, I'm not going to say anything mean about Lisa. I mean, I heard her points and I listened to what she had to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she gets most of her news from the mainstream media.
And
the only thing she had right was Kamala Harris is not black. She's not African American. She's Indian and what do you call it?
And Jamaican.
My mind's going crazy. But I just had a bunch of quick questions I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Did Kamala do anything for the border?
No.
Answer quick.
No, nothing for the border.
Did
In
she
fact,
do
now
anything
people
for the
are
oil
actually
reserves?
people are trying to suggest that she was never referred to and never was the quote unquote border czar, even though Axios got caught in its own little nonsense. They saying she was never the border czar. And then somebody found an article back in 2021 where they referred to it exactly that. So they're being called onto the carpet for that one.
All right. So another question. Did Kamala do anything about the oil reserves? Did she do anything to help us with our oil?
No, of course not. She sat idly by while Joe Biden was selling our oil to China.
So was Kamala there with the president the whole time?
Yes, of course. Yes. In fact, on her two latest stump speeches, all she did, right, in her latest stump speeches, she literally is running on Joe Biden's record. In essence, saying that she's going to be the bath fitter version of Joe Biden. That's the way I look at it.
So what are you going to get? You are going to get Joe Biden
2.0.
Probably powered by the Obamas.
Nah, don't go there yet.
They all have this agenda.
No, Fritz, that's not going to happen.
Obamas really want anything to do with Kamala Harris,
No.
But she's just going to continue exactly what Joe Biden is up to, or she's being controlled by something we don't.
There's
even understand yet.
There's a likelihood of control, but I think. Listen, I'll get into that in a second. Fritz, thank you as always, man, and thank you always for. Go ahead, last one. I'm sorry.
All Kamala Harris did was just party and drink and smoke weed.
That was in her college days, listening to two albums that didn't exist.
No, that was last year. You kidding me? Look at the videos of her out there dancing, going, "Hey, I'll get you toilet paper. I'll get you toilet paper. We're good."
No conspiracies here, Fritz. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Okay, so this is important. And if Lisa's still listening, this is important. And in my family, we have what's called the family chat. Many of you have them. And I get raked over the coals because many of the members of my family or my extended family are liberal. And they are huge Obama fans. Huge Obama fans. And I've been telling everybody that I am on Obama Watch. And the Obama Watch is to find out why is it Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Orono, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Jasmine Crockett. Every notable Democrat I could think of is out there throwing their support behind Kamala Harris. But nothing from Obama. Nothing from any of the Obamas. And I said, I'm not believing any of the hype on television, no matter who it is. I'm not believing any of it until the Obamas come out and there is, because to me, that's the coronation. The Obamas are going to go out. Imagine that. Imagine the appeal of that. Kamala Harris on the campaign trail with none other than Barack Obama, the first black president with the presumptive second black Washington Post version of a black woman who's going to be, and I'm sorry, I'm just saying, Washington Post called her black. She never did. Just like the New York Times called George Zimmerman a white Hispanic. I'm considered there's making up races now. I guess that's what we do. But Barack Obama not out there on the stump, making history, big history. And then I saw this. Obama doesn't believe Kamala Harris can beat Trump, which is why he hasn't endorsed her. This, according to sources. Former President Barack Obama hasn't endorsed Kamala Harris' presidential bid because he doesn't think that she can beat Donald Trump, according to a source close to the Biden family. Following Biden's shock resignation from the race on Sunday and his immediate endorsement of the vice president, most of the Democrat elite have been quick to rally around Harris. But Obama is a notable exception. Quote, Obama is very upset because he knows she can't win, end quote. This the Biden family told the New York Post. Quote, Obama knows that she's incompetent. Again, I quote. Obama knows that she's incompetent. The border czar, who never visited the border, saying that all migrants should have health insurance, she cannot navigate the landmines that are ahead of her, according to the source. Now, for context, this is important. Barack Obama says that Kamala Harris is incompetent. Just so we know, that means that, according to Van Jones at CEN, Barack Obama committed a cardinal sin.
But we're gonna have to learn how to talk to each other. There's certain things that there's a smart way and a dumb way to do anything. It's a very dumb way to, after 400 years of this mistreatment of black people and black women, to say you're incompetent. Maybe that makes sense to you in your world and you wouldn't take it that personally, but that has been the slur. That has been the core, that we are not worthy. We're not as smart. We're not as good. We can't do stuff.
Well, looks like Obama thinks just like many of us do. I guess he's a bigot and a racist too, huh, Lisa? Is Obama a MAGA Republican? I doubt that. With all due respect. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More of your phone calls, of course, if you'd like to opine. It's your show. I just hosted. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsRadio 930 WBEN.
Hey guys, it's health and fitness expert Robbie Raw. You finally have the time, or you're making the time, to do all of the things you've always wanted to do, but you can't because of pain in your back, hip, knee, or feet. That was me a few years ago. I had pain in my knee, preventing me from living my best life. So I thought I'd give the Good Feet store a try. I took their personalized fitting and test walk and walked out with my very own set of arch supports that same day. The pain went away within days without shots, medication, or surgery. Now I'm able to do all of the things I've always wanted to do without any pain holding me back. So what are you waiting for? Yesterday, you said tomorrow, and nothing changes if nothing changes. Decide to be the best version of you. Bring your favorite shoes to the Good Feet store on Walden near Target today and get the arch supports you need to live your best life. You are worth it. And that's the raw truth.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-353-9057, 800-353-9057, or biglou.com.
Well, I was 10 when I first got involved with drugs.
When I first got pregnant, school was not important to me, so I dropped out.
The only way I can make something out of my life is if I get an education.
Stay in school. Give yourself a chance. I want to be somebody. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
This is a special report from ABC News. Biden addresses the nation. I'm Daria Albinger.
My fellow Americans, it's been the privilege of my life to serve this nation for over 50 years.
President Biden says it's time to pass the torch to a new generation, but he says he still has a job to do.
For the next 6 months, I'll be focused on doing my job as president. That means I'll continue to lower costs for hardworking families, grow our economy. I'll keep defending our personal freedoms and our civil rights, from the right to vote to the right to choose.
More from ABC's political analyst Steve Roberts.
Well, frankly, you saw one of the reasons why he bowed out. I mean, his voice was weak. He was not particularly dynamic or inspiring. And so it just reinforced his message that it was time for someone younger and somewhat more vigorous.
The speech just over 11 minutes. This is ABC News.
Tired of hearing scary ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. We may be able to significantly reduce and even eliminate what you owe to the IRS. Taxpayers should know. Huge savings are now being made available through the Fresh Start program that can drastically reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. Even if you haven't filed your taxes in years or are facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, or under audit, we can help. We've earned over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today. To see what savings you may qualify for, visit us online at TRA.com or call us at 800-511-0379. 800-511-0379. Again, that's 800-511-0379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Summer means working hard and playing hard. Home projects and road trips. And a new truck from West Her Toyota makes it all easier and more fun. So check out West Her Toyota in Orchard Park and West Her Toyota in Williamsville for some truly affordable summer deals. Purchase a new 2024 Toyota Tundra now and get 1.99% APR financing for 48 months plus $1,000 Toyota customer cash. 1.99% APR financing for 48 months on approved credit at 21.69 per thousand finance through Toyota Financial Services. Not all buyers qualify. Must take delivery from current dealer stock by July 31st. See dealer for details. Or for another option, check out the totally redesigned new 2024 Toyota Tacoma and get an all-new look this summer. And with 4 total West Her Toyota stores, 2 right here in Buffalo, you can just go to westher.com, pick the truck you like, and we'll bring it to the store closest to you. You're covered north and south at West Her Toyota in Williamsville and West Her Toyota in Orchard Park, where we say it's not just a Toyota, it's a West Her Toyota.
Welcome to West New York. Attention, if you have Medicaid and live in New York and need assistance with daily living, you can receive a 100% free service and get help in the comfort of your own home by a loved one. Call Freedom Care now so you can receive daily help preparing meals, bathing, doing laundry, receiving transportation, and more. All done by a family member or friend that gets paid to be your caregiver. You get to decide who provides your care, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. It's all funded by Medicaid, so it's 100% free to you. Call in the next 10 minutes to see if you qualify. The Freedom Care family will explain the process, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. Freedom Care is #1 in New York and has received over 4,000 5-star reviews. They've been helping families for years. This service is 100% free to you through Medicaid. So call right now and see how fast you can get started with Freedom Care.
Call 716-321-0767. 716-321-0767.
Hi, it's Linda Pellegrino, here to recommend SAS shoes and Route 5 boots. Spring has sprung with warmer weather upon us, so step into your new SAS shoes or high-quality affordable sandals with brand names such as SAS, Dansko, Birkenstock, Taos, and Finn, just to name a few. Feel the comfort of your daily activities with every step. At an affordable price, these brands bring comfort, quality, and support. Stop into SAS shoes now while the selection lasts. Located at the corner of Main and Transit Road in Williamsville.
This is Peter Hunt of Hunt Real Estate. Please join me at our house every Saturday morning at 9, where our mission is to help you protect and enhance your investment in real estate. Each week, my knowledgeable guests join me in a discussion of all aspects of real estate and anything that impacts you as a current or prospective owner or investor. Learn more at theallnewhuntrealestate.com or call the Hunt Hotline at 631-4800, any property, anytime.
Tune in to 9:30 a.m. for the Our House Radio Show every Saturday morning from 9 till 10.
David Bellavia here. When you hear the phrase shower remodel, do you instantly go into the fetal position and have a stress headache? Where do you shower? For how long? What about the mess? With Bathfitter, there's no stress because Bathfitter just fits. Get a new tub or new tub to shower conversion installed in just one day. No mess, no fuss, just a beautiful new bathroom. Schedule your in-home consultation today, 888-716-BATH, and ask for the David deal. Get up to $1,200 off when you schedule by July 30th. Call Bathfitter at 888-716-BATH.
The rules around marijuana use are changing, but it's still a crime to drive under the influence. If you've been accused of driving while impaired...
Back in 20 seconds here.
Pressman is your ticket to justice.
Hi, I'm Arthur Pressman. If you've been accused of using marijuana and charged with a DWI, call me right after you're arrested. You need an experienced trial attorney with over 35 years experience on your side. I will fight for you in court to ensure you get the justice you deserve.
Arthur Pressman is your ticket to justice. Visit tickettojustice.com for details.
Read the news online at WBEN.com.
I'm going to hang out here for a little while with you. So if you're interested, pick up that phone, 800-616-WBEN, 616-9236. I'm Reese on the Radio from the Reese on the Radio Rundown. You can download the Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app now, and you can get my Sunday show, and you can find out when I'm going to be on and the Reese on the Radio Rundown. Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. It's the whole thing. And you contribute to the show by just listening to the podcast. That's a great part. You listen to the podcast, and you know that's the paywall, as it were, right? That's how I get paid, by you showing up just to listen. So it's for free, and I do it. It's a labor of love because I love doing this and I love talking to you. Let me just say this before I take Sam's call for a second. So Lisa, if you are listening, and I hope you are, I know, and I think the effort that you gave to call in, even though you and I have ideological differences, I want to run this down for you. And I said, go to Real Clear Politics. Everyone goes to Real Clear Politics, no matter their stripe. Here's a breakdown. CNN poll, Trump 49, Harris 46. That's Trump up 3. On CNN. I'm sure that is an organization you trust. NPR, PBS, and Marist poll. Trump up by 1, 46 to 45. Yahoo News, a tie. Morning Consult. This is all general election. Trump 47, Harris 45. One poll has Kamala Harris up, and that's Reuters Ipsos. Harris up 2 points. Nowhere in the latest polls, by the way, I'm going all the way back to July 16th, Kamala Harris is winning none of those polls, with the exception of the Reuters Ipsos. I do this regularly. Regularly. I live for the polls. Now, on another note, before I get to Sam, the United States and Canada intercepted 2 Russian fighter jets and 2 Chinese H-bombers near Alaska today, shortly before Biden addressed the nation. NORAD detected, tracked, and intercepted 2 Russian Tu-95s and 2 PRC-86 military aircraft operating in the Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone. Fighter jets from the United States and Canada conducted the intercept, NORAD said, adding that the foreign bombers remained in the international airspace and did not enter American or Canadian sovereign airspace, and that their activity is not seen as a threat. Do you really think that that was an accident? Everything that happens here, they are paying attention to. We are the great superpower. Everything that we do here, they are watching. They have a direct feed watching everything that happens, and watching the President of the United States as they have, they see a sign of weakness. And they are sending a message. It's not provocation, just a message. And if you don't think they are, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. This stuff is not, none of this stuff is a coincidence. Now we'll go to the phones. Oh, we lost Sam. Damn it, that's my fault. I should have just ran to him. I'm sorry, but I get this thing where I have to get it out. That's okay. Sam, I hope you'll call back. Let me say this because Lisa, who is listening, about Project 2025. Lisa, when someone asks you, have you read Project 2025? The answer is always yes. Okay? When someone asks you, when you have a problem with an initiative and someone asks you, have you read the initiative? The answer is always yes, even if you're lying. And then you can filibuster about it all you want, but never, ever allow anyone to be able to tell you you're in fear of something you've never read. I had this conversation with my stepdaughter just recently who says, have you read Project 2025? Are you for dictatorship? I said, yes, we did read all 920 some odd pages. Have you? I skimmed through it. Okay, what'd you skim? How many initiatives? When someone asks you how many initiatives are in Project 2025 and you can't say 30, fake it. Say, I don't know, 25 or something. Fake it. Because in order for you to really be afraid of something, you actually have to know what it is that you're fearful of. You're screaming about it like it's the big giant boogeyman. You should know something about it. There are 30 initiatives in government. In fact, the purpose of Project 2025 is not an initiative implemented by anybody. It is a blueprint for what the Heritage Foundation would like to see in government. Read it and then get back to me and tell me the things that you don't like. Okay? That's like me telling you that Deadpool Wolverine movie sucks. And you say, hey, did you see it? It comes out on Friday. And I went, no, I haven't seen it. I was reading a review. Some guy told me it sucked. So if he said it sucked, I guess it does. I would look like an idiot, wouldn't I? I'd look like a fool. Do better. Do better. That's all I ask. Do better. Fume says, Reese, you're giving Lisa answers for the next test. I'm trying to help. Trying to help. Let's get back. Sam's back. Let's get back to Sam. Sam, you're on Reese on the radio. How are you, sir?
Hey, can you hear me good, Reese?
I can hear you great, man. How are you?
I'm all right, man. If you don't mind me asking, who do you plan on voting for?
I will be voting for Donald Trump. I think that's a given at this point, though.
Yeah, I figured. I used to be like that, too, until, a few things, do you remember Trump pardoning Lil Wayne and Kodak Black back there in the day?
That's right.
Yeah.
He did pardon him after the gun charge, right?
He did.
Was that, wait a minute, now was that a reason?
There on January 6th. Stuart Rhodes, 18 years in federal prison.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Schwartz, 14 years in federal prison.
Uh-huh.
Thomas Webster, 10 years in federal prison. Now, where was the pardons for these guys? You know what I mean? That's my question, He had, 14 days until his presidency ended.
Right.
No justice for these.
Well, wait a minute. Were they
soldiers
convicted?
on
Hold on.
January 6th.
Wait. Sam, wait, you're getting ahead of yourself. Were these guys convicted before he got out of office? Because I don't remember that. He was out of office on January 20th. Isn't that correct? January 6th.
Yeah.
That would.
Well, they were convicted in November. I'm not sure if does a pardon rely on the conviction?
Well, no. If you're pardoning them, you have to pardon them for an actual conviction. You can't pardon them for an arrest or a prosecution. That's, you actually have to be convicted of something before you get a pardon. So if January 6th happened, he's out January 20th, he has no pardon power thereafter. If they don't end up doing jail time or even going through a trial for that matter, because again, they have to have due process, those things happen after he's out of office. So we're looking literally at 14 days.
So you don't think there's anything Mr. Trump could have done here?
I don't. At that particular point, when you've got the apparatus of the federal government coming at you from all ends, I mean, I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong, and I don't want to poo-poo what you're saying as a fact. But I think that Donald Trump has been very vocal, and I think you can say this too about plenty of people who are now doing prison time, who have been locked up because of January 6th. He believes that many of them are patriots who pretty much got served a sour sentence by the Department of Justice. In fact, Donald Trump has made very vocal that he believes that the Biden administration's Department of Justice has been heavy-handed on a lot of people who they don't agree with politically. I mean, look at the man that they sent long guns to, who was the abortion the guy who was at the abortion clinic. They sent guys with long guns to his house and scared the hell out of his, four daughters when they came to arrest him for just protesting at an abortion clinic. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. So Donald Trump has been very vocal.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, he's been very vocal about those strong arm tactics of this administration, not just to the American people, but of course to himself. as well. But no, I feel you. If Donald Trump had more time, if January 6th was November 4th, right, and we had seen some sort of conviction, I'm sure he would have. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, I think if he had the power to do it and he had the time, I think he would.
Right?
Yeah, of course. At least I do. I believe I would have hoped that he would have.
I would hope so. That, I mean, you've given me some more light on it. I never considered the conviction. I appreciate that. I mean, his support for the vaccines work. People aren't dying when they take vaccines. Operation Warp Speed, he touted that.
He was very, very touted that. Yeah, he did. And
things like that worry me, you know what I mean?
But remember what he didn't
he
do.
plays the anti-establishment kind of line, but
Sam, remember what
stays in the establishment just enough, you know?
Sam, remember what he didn't do in effect. He did have Operation Warp Speed. But what happened after his administration was, again, back to the strong arm tactics of the administration, right? In no way. In fact, people said, I think it was Dr. Fauci and President Biden, who said if only Donald Trump would come forward and encourage people to take the vaccine, he thought he could talk to MAGA Republicans and say, hey, and these are their words, not mine, talk to MAGA Republicans and encourage them to take the vaccine. And Donald Trump did come out and he said, honestly, look, I can't force people to take. People are going to make the choice. They have a right to say no. He didn't believe that the administration should strong arm them and in many cases demonize them. What he did to people in the military. My wife is, former Army. She thought, she thought it was unfair that they had no right to refuse them, but she understood that the administration had the power to do that. Because in essence, they own the military. Once you're in the military, the government owns you. So if they're going to tell you have to take the vaccine, you have to take it. She didn't approve of it, but again, she understood that. But she thought for the American people that they had a right to say no. But there were plenty of establishments and plenty of airlines, like I think it was Delta and American. They told people that if you don't take it, you were going to get fired. And Donald Trump was very vocal against that.
Yeah, that's what happened with me, threatened my job and everything.
Yeah, it happened. It was an incredible time in our life. And I think Jordan Peterson said it best. People said that we would never see a time like 1939 again. And Jordan Peterson says, and if you ever look it up, you can find him. Jordan Peterson said, we will never, ever be in a place where 1939 would repeat itself. And he said, well, look at what Americans were doing after the vaccine or during COVID-19. There were American people who couldn't wait to contact the authorities to report on their fellow neighbors. And that was, people looked at that and just went, when he said it, I thought about it. I said, you know what? That's true. We had a governor of Washington State that was telling people on television, if you see your neighbors gathering 10 people or more, contact the authorities. And people did. That wasn't.
Yeah, it was almost turning your neighbors into Big Brother.
Yeah, it was insane.
It was encouraging children.
It was unheard of.
Their parents, and
it was
very scary. I agree.
It was again people talk about a divided nation, and I always think about that on so many levels about how divided we were, but so many people don't pay very close attention to where the division is. They it's always one-sided, but when you start to point out things like this, people go, yeah, I remember that. It was like, but it was COVID-19. It was like, well, wait a minute. If you're telling me that in order to prevent people from dying, that it's okay to divide people by vaccinated and unvaccinated, was it okay to demonize them in the fashion in which they did? And people go, well, maybe that wasn't. Well, then that's part of the division. No one made it easier on the other side. Well, they're screaming MAGA Republicans, as Lisa did, are dividers and haters. And I can go to COVID-19 just 3 years ago and talk about what people thought of anyone who did not follow the line, who did not goose step their way into a vaccination place. Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, the likes on MSNBC and CNN, even regular television. The objective was to demonize anyone who did not follow suit. It was incredible. It was an incredible time in our life.
And if you fast forward to today, it's not even a big deal if you're not vaccinated.
Well,
you know? But
it's insane
it made
because
it seem like you couldn't. It would be the whole the vaccine passports. You know, I didn't.
Exactly.
That's not implemented today.
I'll tell you this story, Sam, before I let you go. This is probably one of the best stories that I can tell, and I tell it a lot. So I own a moving company, and my moving company originally started in Virginia before we started to spread out.
Tough job moving.
Yeah, I know it is. I love it though. And we had this client who was in the Bronx. No, sorry, in Queens, in Far Rockaway, and she had her storage in Virginia, Northern Virginia. And she kept calling me about when she was going to come down to get her storage out there to bring it back up to New York, but she couldn't make it. It was during COVID. It was really, really strict. And while she's on the phone, while she was changing her appointment date with me, she started telling me what it was like in New York City. And she told this story. She says, I had to go to Manhattan from Far Rockaway, which is about a 2-hour train ride on the A train. I had to take a 2-hour ride from Far Rockaway into the city to go get my medication because it's a narcotic and they can't deliver it or mail it to her. So she had to physically go get it. And she was riding on the train in Far Rockaway on the A train. And when she got there on the train was empty. There was barely anybody on the train, but the trains were still running. And a police officer gets in after she's about 5-6 stops in. A police officer gets onto the train and sees her there wearing her mask and just sitting there by herself, an older woman. He walked up to her and he says, ma'am, where are you going? And so she looked at him and she says, I got to go to Manhattan to go pick up my cancer medication. She told him, like I'm telling you, because it's a narcotic, they can't mail it and she has to pick it up physically. And he asked her, can you show me your prescription, please? This is New York City, 2021.
Man. It's ironic. I was just in the mall earlier, and you know those ski masks that the kids wear?
Oh, yeah, the shiesties.
Mask? Yeah, I seen a mall security. I asked the kids, you got to take your mask off. And I had a good laugh to myself thinking, a couple years ago, they wanted everyone in the masks, right?
Yeah. It's insane. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, Sam. Thank you so much, man. Young, if you don't mind my asking, Sam, how old of a guy are you?
I'm 19 years old, and I just want to take this chance to say props in the YouTube chat. I'm on you, props. I own you. I'm your father.
All right. No mean talk here. Jesus Christ. Props. You're starting a war, Sam. Thank you for the call. I hear you. But yeah, like I was saying about this client, she said the police officer asked to see her prescription to prove that she was going to get her narcotics. And I remember me and the boys, Carl and Justin, we were like looking at each other and we immediately we were like, can you show me your papers? I'm like, what in God's name? She had to show her papers to go get her medication. Unheard of. New York City, 2021. Prove to me where you're going. To a cop. Mary's in the chat room going, HIPAA. I'll admit, she didn't know that because she was fearful that she thought that the police officer would send her home and she wouldn't be able to get her medication. So she showed it to him just so she could go on about her day. I'll never forget that story. It blew my mind as she told me that. And I'm from New York, born and raised from New York. And the way that they treated their citizens during that time, the way that they treated New Yorkers during that time, it turned it into a ghost town. Businesses closed down. It's the most insane thing you'd ever imagine. New York City. It's the reason why they just left that city. They were hemorrhaging people and continue to do so. You guys know. WBEN, you know. You know. Some of you are saying to yourself right now, how in the hell can I get out of here? But don't go anywhere. Reese on the radio's here. I just got here. Can you guys hang out? Don't go anywhere. Oh God, 10, are you there? Are we coming back for one more hour?
No, we're out after
Oh, we're out of here? Oh, gosh. If that's the case, I might as well do my send-off. Please check out ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Please check out ReeseOnTheRadio.com. And download the Odyssey app so you can check out my Sunday show and become a member. Friend me on Facebook. Friend me on Twitter, or as you know, X. I'm Reese on the Radio. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here next time. Holler.
When was the last time you...
All right, thanks, Reese. We're all set. Have a good one. I'll catch you down the road.
Oh, you got it, boss man. Bye.
That's what we're doing at Transitown Jeep Chrysler Dodge Ram in July. Lease a loaded Jeep Compass Limited for just $349 a month. Not one penny down. All taxes and fees in...
All right, that's it. I love you too. I love you too, Johnny. I love you too. Okay, folks, you know the drill. We'll be back here tomorrow on the Reese on the Radio Rundown, and we'll also be back on WTIC at 3 p.m., so make sure that you are there. I love you guys. Thank you for always riding with me and having fun with me. Lisa was a hoot. But I don't know about you, but I love conversations like that. So just be here tomorrow, and thank you all. I really, really do appreciate you. All right, holler.